Yet another episode of Blah Blah. Today, the 10th one, crafting metaphors for handmade transformation. And I must admit that this one is the last one, but not last one. Last one from the series of 10. So if you haven't seen the previous one and you don't know what the heck is that concept, check those videos. They are really short, at least the first one or two. Then you're going to know what it's all about. But basically, in short, it's all about what can handmade bring you in terms of inner growth. What crafting metaphors can we take in order to get out of the crafting bubble and actually use it for our inner growth as a tool that we could practice every day without an effort? And today, that's the last but not least episode. Last but not least, that's a good comparison. I decided that there's going to be 10 episodes, and then I'm going to pause in order to work in my magical, notebook in which I write down all the ideas from this family, from previous episodes. I'm going to be going deeper into those concepts, exploring other techniques, other thoughts, new metaphors. But for now, I'm publishing first 10 videos in order to challenge myself with time. Because time metaphor is the last one, the 10th one that I'm bringing for you today. Handmade takes time. It's not, it's rather like a common knowledge. If we look at somebody doing a crafted wooden table, we can expect that that's going to take longer than a machine made IKEA stuff. And the same with, I don't know, crocheting. It's obvious that with a machine made clothing, it will take much faster. We all know fast fashion concept than handmade knitting, like doing the sweater on your own with your hand, using those two sticks or one stick, which is called crocheting hook. So I guess there's this one metaphor which is probably really accessible to you, even if you don't come from this handmade crafting world or our, professional bubble. But I do want to take you also through more, let's say, not obvious one. And for that, I will draw the example of wickery. Recently, I had an amazing interview with a person that is dealing with wickery on daily basis. But one thought that stuck with me really for a long time, and I'm taking that with me for a lifetime in my heart, was the idea of seasoning. Wickery, before it's ready to be used in order to weave baskets, prams, or house accessories, or laundry baskets, or anything you can think of, because basically you can use it for anything, like chairs, like tables, you name it, you probably can use wickery to create that kind of house home utensils. But before you even start the process, before crafted hands of talented, craftsmen take that material and start weaving it with certain know-how that is necessary in order to even start, wickery needs a lot of seasoning. I don't know whether you knew, wickery is something that you grow. It's not a tree, it's a plant, and it looks like a really long branch of a tree that is straight and like simple and doesn't branch out. It's growing on some really wet environments, but before it is harvested, cut, and used as a material, it needs time for seasoning, and that there are certain activities that needs to be made with the material. For example, it needs to be wet in order to start proceeding with weaving. But that gives me this idea that great things are worth waiting for. And on the surface, we all know that, but do we actually apply that to life? Are we getting impatient after, I know, 3 months ago we started a new business and it's not bringing millions, like 6 figures, 7 figures, and all of that? Are we getting impatient if we're trying to potty, use some potty with our kids, and after 3 or 4 trials, she's not doing the potty thing? Are we getting impatient when we're really dreaming about this perfect relationship and all we manifest is crappy ones? And we're disappointed and we're hurt? I bet you know that Good things are worth waiting for. But what do we do with the waiting? Imagine wickery just waiting there to be used as a material in order to, weave this epic basket. It wouldn't be ready in, 1,000 times. Of course, it would just be there, just like be recycled and probably become a food for, I don't know, some bacteria, and then go through that whole process that we learned at school and become a wickery again, right? But in terms of creation of that epic basket we dream of, nothing would happen. What kind of learning, what kind of metaphor do we find here? In order for wickery to be ready to be used as a material in order to create that basket, we need certain actions. And those actions need to be taken in certain time, in optimized manner, in a procedure, in a matter that was maybe taught from generation to generation. Maybe there can be some improvement to the process done by experimenting, by making mistakes, erroring, and then finding a better solution. But after making a lot of errors, that's how you perfect with time. That's how you season. That's how you improve the process of seasoning of wickery. That's how you prepare to create an epic basket. So why don't we apply that into life? Why, when we do the potty with our child, we don't allow ourselves to have like 1 or 2 wet nights? Why do we assume that, each time it has to be perfect and the child won't wiggle the thing trying to clean after oneself? Like we have that with the youngest one, like, so we don't manage to go and then clean after her, and it's like, oh my god, that was not a good idea to teach her. No, we've made a couple of mistakes, but then after a couple of months, she's already doing that. She's not being wet on the night, and we don't need that nappy when we go for a trip. And sometimes, yes, it happens, something breaks, she's getting wet again, but we are not expecting from her to know how to do the potty after 3 trials. So each time I go back to this, oh shit, you did it again, we failed as parents, right? We cannot teach you to do the potty. I think of this wickery metaphor, the seasoning, the preparation of the material, in order to create a basket, in our case, to create a situation where she doesn't need the nappy anymore, can be free from that, we allow ourselves to make some errors in the process of, perfecting the work, the seasoning. And it's the same with the business. Why do we expect that after 3 months we have the 10K or, I don't know, 100K months? Maybe we could treat it as the seasoning that we perfect. Certain things need certain time, maybe some breakthroughs, maybe some new ideas need to come to place. Maybe we could follow a certain procedure that somebody wiser, more experienced could share with us. And maybe we don't need to expect that we need to go step by step, bit by bit, exactly the same way. We can perfect the process, maybe a bit experiment with that. But it all takes time. Seasoning of wickery takes time. So before we even start creating this epic basket, we need this time. We need to be imperfect. We need to be this raw material before we can put it all together and create an epic work. So next time, basically each time, you're getting impatient, you're looking at your idea and you're not getting results you needed. You have this intention in your heart and you've done the work and you're so impatient about the results. Put this wickery thing in your head. If it's really hard to imagine what the wickery looks like, you know that I'm seeding the seed in order for you to check what's wickery, right? And how does it look like? I hope I'm going to teach you something about the handmade here. But if that's coming to your heart, think of wickery baskets or prams, or those baskets or chairs that you put on your balcony when it's warm, and the smell of this material, right? And how it cracks when you sit on it and you feel it's so natural, coming from the earth, bringing you closer to nature. Think of wickery. When you're getting impatient, Please make use of this handmade metaphor. Use these crafting techniques in order for you to grow, in order for you to not get impatient, to allow yourself to be imperfect, make errors, prototype, try out, and not have the perfect results yet. And think of all that process just as seasoning of wickery before you put it all together into this one masterpiece basket. Hope that metaphor brought you something that you can use on a daily basis. This simple connotation, this simple picture in your head that you see this woven basket can bring you to more patience, more understanding, more calm inside, and more peaceful approach to your everyday struggles, aims, goals, dreams. They're there. You're going to get them. But sometimes we need the seasoning of wickery. This raw material needs to get ready. And for that, we need time. Hope you're going to use that metaphor. And I truly hope that you're going to come and join me with the conversation below. If you enjoyed that series or that episode, please do share, comment below. I hope I'm going to open up the discussion over handmade with those crafting metaphors, that we could provide ourselves with more and more and more, because there is this immense richness of techniques, artists, and crafting ideas that are hidden in handmade bubble. And I hope I'm going to warmly introduce you to our world. Hope that someday we're going to meet over some crafting workshops and we'll be able to lead ourselves into inner growth. I hope that for you also those crafting metaphors will be a tool for handmade transformation. See you in the next episodes.